Welcome to We Don't Have Cookies with your host, Jason Marshall.
What's up, guys? I want to start off the show by apologizing for there being absolutely no shows last week. But to be fair, on, March's Dumbass of the Year episode with Benny Mac, I said that there probably wouldn't be a Monday show and that there would definitely be a Thursday show, which should have been your first clue there wouldn't be any show that week because nothing I say ever comes true on the show, which is why I just quit talking about my house because I think I've cursed the shit out of that too. But the Monday show, we tried to record something, and midway through, the DJ just came in and started blaring music, and I'm pretty strict on not using copyrighted stuff because I don't have the money to get sued if that ever comes up. And the Thursday show, we did record that, but there was a lot of little technical issues, so that hasn't come out yet. That'll either be up Thursday or next Monday. And special thanks to Keith from the Sea of Madness podcast for recording the show. He was the backup recorder, which thank God there was, because there were a lot of issues with my recorder that night, and it would have been lost if it wasn't for him. So big thanks to that guy. And speaking of the Sea of Madness podcast, I'm on the latest episode. I'm talking about my favorite movie from like 1980 or something called, I think it's called High Voltage. It's clearly my favorite movie. I can't remember the name, but we recorded it something like 3 or 4 years ago. So if you want to hear me say a lot, just check that out. It is a pretty good episode. I'll have a link to that in the show notes. With me today is, I don't know, maybe my best friend in the whole wide world.
No.
It's Mama Kate.
We can't be friends. Being friends with you is like being friends with Forrest Gump. Like bad shit happens when people are friends with you, just like Forrest Gump. And just as oblivious, you just float through your life, and everybody else is getting maimed and dying of AIDS.
I just come on the podcast and tell the story. I don't think we've talked about this on the show, but what she's referring to, and I just realized that after one of the shows we did, I forget which one it was, it was between 2003 and 2004, everything in the world pretty much went wrong. I lost something like, I think it was 24 friends and family members because on Christmas Eve and Christmas, I kept thinking, well, this is the day it rounds up to 25. Yeah. there has to be a payoff to where it's like, nope, now here's the big catastrophe. And then 7 years later, 2010 to 2011, pretty much the same thing happened. I lost my mom, my brother-in-law, like all kinds of people. Mm-hmm. Then this year, 2017, 7 years, these are all 7 years apart. Right before we did a show, my best friend died. And a week or two before that, Gary Henry was on the show. And I just came from my wife's grandma's funeral. And recently, my favorite aunt in the whole world, Lucy Ellison, I used to go to her house every summer and spring in Tennessee. I used to call her Mama Lucy. She recently passed away, so it's looking like this is the purge year, which we have called it.
That's why I don't give Jason my phone number. He's only allowed to contact me via Facebook Messenger, which to me is like the lowest level of acquaintanceship. If you can only get through someone through Facebook Messenger, I don't know where he lives. I don't have his phone number. Like I don't. It's a loose connection at best, is what I'm saying.
You hear that, universe?
Don't blame me. Don't hold me accountable.
The last guest I had in studio was Mike Canestaro, mm-hmm. and he was running a little late. He sent me a text message to let me know he was on his way. It's no offense to him, but I thought, how do you get my number? And then, but I remembered I gave it to him the first time he came on the show just in case he got lost or something. Yeah. And then my second thought was, Mama Kate would be very jealous.
I just find it so weird. And it's not weird. I mean, it's just the way things are right now in our world. But,
yeah,
you know, we do a lot of shows together but I know I've met your wife, I've met your kids, you know my husband, but no.
It's funny. I've never even thought about it either until you brought that up. We'll get to the diesel show in a minute, but I was talking to one of the guys. It was, what was it, January or something, when I went over to the diesel to talk to them about the next show we were going to do. Is his name John?
Yeah.
Okay.
John, yeah.
I couldn't remember which of the two that I was talking about, but he gave me his phone number and told me if I had any other questions to let him know. And I said, okay, thanks. And I put his number in my phone, and he kept throwing out these not so subtle hints that anybody else in the world would have picked up on but me. And he was like, just whenever, just send any questions my way, and I'll answer the phone no matter what, even if I don't know who it is that's calling me, because I never gave him my number. It just never occurred to me to follow up like, well, here's mine. He must have thought.
Jason's just like, why would anybody call me? I have no reason to call me.
I just never realized how that probably came across to him. Like, what the fuck?
He guards his phone number with his life. Like, it better be a fucking emergency.
I even threw out a couple of hints, and he just kept right on going. Fuck that guy. Which is probably what he thought I was thinking.
Yeah, Mr. Famous will give out his phone number.
Oh man, that was great. Well, we had a good time at the diesel show.
It was a great show. We had a good turnout. I mean, the place was.
It was packed.
There
were people everywhere. We got there early and rearranged the room, and before the show started, I thought, oh.
Well, we're standing outside with the comedians, and it's 10 till, and there's like 3 people there, and then it's 5 till, and there's 4 people here now.
Yeah, and I thought, I'm glad I got here early to rearrange the entire room so all the seating would be available.
Looking at these comics who we've brought in from out of town, and I'm like, oh my God, there's just, what do you do? Then you're faced with do we just call it, say, sorry guys for wasting your time, or do we make them perform in front of the 4 people who are here? But then all of a sudden it was packed.
Yeah.
I went out front for a smoke break, and then I came back, and there was it was a full crowd. And I was like, where the hell did these people sneak in from? Because I was right by the front door. So where did these people get in?
Yeah, all the tables were full. Mm-hmm. There were people sitting around the bar. And we were sitting on a part, you and Gary were sitting where you couldn't really even see.
No, I couldn't see.
Because that was kind of the only place you could really sit.
Yeah.
And it was one of the few shows, it was one of the few shows that I've ever been to, at least, where there were people sitting behind the comedians. Yeah. Because it was one of the only places you could find a place to sit.
Yeah.
I was really impressed.
It turned out really well. And we had a drag queen as our host, and she was fantastic. Yeah. So,
well, real quick before I get too much further, if anybody listening to this was at the show, I want to thank you for coming out. Mm-hmm. It was a great turnout. It was a great crowd. So thanks for showing up, man. I really appreciate that.
I mean, I think it speaks well of the show when you go from having 20 people show up to having a full house show up.
Yeah. And the other thing, too, was there were people showing up at 11:30 and paying full price to come in. Yeah. And there was at least 6 to 10 people that did that.
Yeah, I was surprised, too.
Yeah,
we're getting ready to go on break. Okay.
But like you were about to say, we had a drag queen as the host. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't too sure how that was going to go because when I went to the meeting, I told you about where I would not give them my number. They said that they were going to have somebody named Amanda Sue Fuck Punch host the show. And I thought, I don't know if I'm cool with that because, I mean, it's their venue. Mm-hmm. It's their rules. But I thought, I've never heard of this person. I've never seen this person. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure how that's going to go. And I tell you, they could not have picked anybody better. I mean, it was spot on.
It was amazing. Well, actually, she had said that she had, or he, I mean, because I guess he's not a transgender person, so it's still a he, even though he's dressed as a she, and a very convincing she.
Yeah.
Where in my mind, it's a she. Amanda's a she. If I'm speaking about Amanda, I'd say her. If I'm speaking about Nick, the real person, then I would say he. I don't know. But whatever it is. Anyway, he had done stand-up a couple times before.
Oh, really?
Like twice he had tried it.
Okay.
But hadn't pursued it. He was also Miss Gay Ohio, so that's pretty cool. So he's just a natural on stage. And it just really, really was funny.
Yeah, and even when we went to break, he was inside doing numbers and shit.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was great. So if you were outside smoking, you got a break from the show, and if you were inside,
You were still being entertained.
exactly. Yeah. It couldn't have went better as far as the hosting goes. Well, the whole show was great.
And he had a problem with the music, and he did such a good job dealing with it that I, for a minute, thought that it was a planned thing that was happening.
Yeah, he handled it really well.
Yeah, I mean, a complete professional. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And the next show we're going to have there is going to be Saturday, June 10th. That's going to be for my birthday.
And she's going to be there. They are going to be there. So
That's
they've already
awesome.
confirmed to host. So
What's really funny was that show went so well. I wanted to do a show for my birthday, and it went so well. I was getting ready to leave, and I said something to, I think it was John, about how I would like to do that.
yeah.
And I asked if they were free on the 10th. And he was like, oh, my God. And he looks over at his partner. He's like, you're not going to believe this. We just had a cancellation like an hour or two ago for a show
June
we were
10th?
going
Yeah.
to do for June 10th. So, yeah, you can have that. There's no problem. We needed
worked out
something.
well. Yeah.
So I was really happy about that. Fingers crossed, I'm going to do some time on the stage. I think that'll be fun.
I was thinking the same thing. Like, I'm ready to hit the stage. I haven't for a while. I mean, honestly, I haven't felt any desire. Like, I know if I put my name out there and tell people I'm out and about again, that I'm sure I could find venues to do shows. It just hasn't seemed very funny recently, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, I feel it now. Like, I feel that burn to get back.
Well, that, and it's such a good crowd. Mm-hmm. You see those guys up there having fun, and it just makes you want to be up there.
Yeah, it really does.
It's been 2 years since I've done anything.
Yeah.
How long's it been for you?
August of 2015.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, since I broke my leg, that was pretty. I had a show that weekend. I broke my leg late Monday night, Tuesday, you know, and I had a show that Friday night, and they had the guy who put the show together messaged me like, damn, Kate, you just could say I don't want to do the show. You didn't have to go through all that. Like, yes, I wanted to get out of your show so bad that I was willing to wreck my Vespa into a wall. Well, not even my Vespa, my sister's Vespa. That's how desperate I was, that I didn't even care who I hurt. I do not want to do this comedy show.
Also, June 10th was the first time I ever went on stage.
No, for your birthday?
Yeah. That was, let's see, June 10th, 2012.
So is your wife going to come since it's your birthday show and you're going to perform?
I doubt it.
You...
She's not invited anyway.
I mean, I can't stop her. It's a public place. She wants to pay her $5, she can come. But
And by the way, this time, no comedian's getting paid. It's all going to my birthday fund.
Yeah, it's just drinks for Jason's birthday.
I don't care what the other comedians
I can't
tell
think
you.
of a better thing to get an alcoholic than free drinks all night long.
So that should be a good show. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
And hopefully I'll start promoting that one. I was really worried about the last show because the first show I felt bad. I promoted it, but I thought I could have promoted it more.
Yeah.
And everything that had been going on in the last couple of months, I didn't promote this one at all, I don't think, except I did on the podcast.
Yeah, and the bar did, and I did, and other comedians were putting it out there.
I really felt shitty. I think I sent a few messages to some of the comedians apologizing for that, but hopefully this one will be even bigger.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. Speaking of birthday parties, a 3-year-old girl who had a birthday party. We did a story similar to this maybe a year ago or something, where a girl had a birthday party and she wanted her cake to be a cow giving birth.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This girl wanted to have a birthday party that was, I don't know, it was just a shit-themed birthday party. And they used the little apple poop emoji.
Yeah.
To make the cake.
Which apparently was not supposed to be poop. It's supposed
Really?
to be chocolate ice cream, is what I've heard
I can see
when it was originally put out. But I don't buy it because hasn't it always had like the flies and stuff around? I mean,
I don't know. I'm trying to think because it's been a while since I had an iPhone. It was like the 4S is the last one I had, and I switched to Android.
Yeah, I've always had Android. I don't know, but that's what I was told, that it was not supposed to be poop.
Fun fact, if I don't like you in my phone, the picture that comes up is a pile of shit with flies around it. So I know not to answer.
But who has your phone number that they're calling you anyway? Who do you allow to call you? Your wife? Your daughters?
Not very
Everybody
many
else
people.
is dead. You've killed them off in your purges.
It has become a very lonely world.
Clearly, God just goes through your contacts and he's like, this one, this one, this one.
They've been best friends for almost 30 years. Well, we can't have that. Yeah, I was thinking about that
I've
the other
only known
day.
Jason for like not even 5 years, so very tenuous.
Yeah, you're safe for now. I was thinking that as I was going down the road the other day. I needed to call my wife, and I was stopped, and I got my phone out, and I'm like, the only people I ever really call is her and my kid.
Yeah.
The only use for my phone is to get on the internet and to call my wife every so often.
Yeah.
That's it. But back to the poop kid. That is a very strange birthday party. She loves poop, apparently.
You know what? I have a 10-year-old who loves poop. It's his favorite thing. I could totally see him wanting to have a poop party. He used to like draw pictures for the bathroom and it'd be like poop here, and he like hang it on the toilet, like instruction. We were gonna start selling them, but he didn't want to repeat his original work. He's an artist. No, I totally get it. Kids love poop.
Apparently, it went over very well.
Yeah.
The mother even made a game called Pin the Poop on the Toilet.
Why can't you pin the poop on the donkey? I mean, it works all the same.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know what I would do if my kid came to me and she's just said, "Hey, this is the theme of my party." It's just,
I would be like,
I want
let's
shit
do
everywhere.
It. It's a poop party. It's a party of poop. Poop party.
It just seems so weird. Seeing balloons with poop on them, and they went all out.
My kids did that anyway for my daughter's birthday when she turned 18. Got balloons and like I decorated her car and all this stuff. And when she brought the balloons home, my boys took them and drew penises on them.
No,
I would have preferred poop to like penis balloons bouncing around.
now if your son came to you and he said, "Mom, I really want to have a dick party."
A dick party. Yeah, I'd be like, wait
guess-
till you get married, I guess.
I guess that's different because it's genitalia as opposed to excrement. And they do have those. They're called bachelorette parties.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
It probably would be easier to have a
And
dick
if you
party.
want to have a dick party, then you probably will have a bachelorette party.
That's a very good point.
Of course, guys do like their stuff. They like their junk. They like to scratch it. They like to rub it. My son used to be fascinated. What his favorite thing to do was to cup his penis and his balls and like make a squishy sound. It makes like a fart sound, like. And he used to do that all the time. Like he used to sit on the couch and be like. So that was great.
It sounds like a good time.
The things boys will do.
Yeah. Do a lot of weird stuff, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Also, ChooChoo Stu started his own podcast.
Yeah.
It's called The Podcast Train, which is available now. I'll try to have a link to that in the show notes, too. His first guest was a phone sex operator.
Well, I'm a little pissed at our friend ChooChoo because I followed his podcast as soon as it came out, but he didn't follow me on Twitter until, like, this morning. So,
You're going to have to send some flowers or something.
Don't we have, like, a court system that can rule on this?
Oh.
Isn't there a thing called martial law?
Yes, there is, and I'm writing that down.
I'm bringing the case before the martial law.
That will happen.
Watch out, ChooChoo. Woo, woo. I'm coming for you.
You're going to get a summons in your DMs.
Yeah. Since he's international, I don't think he has to answer your summons. You have no power.
This is an international court of law.
Says you.
That's all that matters.
I want to see the United Kingdom give their seal of approval.
Did you hear the show with the phone sex operator?
No, I did not.
It was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know what we were
that
talking
out.
about anymore.
There's even a question in there from me, so that's a little teaser for the show. I don't know how many people are going to go just to hear what question I asked, but it was a really good time. ChooChoo Stu put a lot of effort into the show, and I was really impressed with it. So
my problem is I've had kids home from school, so it's hard to listen to a podcast.
Yeah, I did a podcast panel 2 weeks ago or so. And two of the people on the panel have podcasts, but they don't listen to podcasts. Yeah. I thought that was funny.
I don't listen to my own because I hate the sound of my own voice. It just sounds so disturbing.
Keith from the Sea of Madness asked if I listened to the latest episode where I was on. And I told him, I said, man, this is going to sound like I'm completely full of shit because I have my own podcast. But I have a hard time listening to shows I'm on.
Yeah.
And I even have a hard time when I'm mentioned on a podcast. Yeah. Like, I hear them start to talk about me, and I have to pause it and go to something else. I get really anxious. I have no idea why. It's really weird.
You don't know what they're going to say. They'll be like, that dude is a douche.
Jim Cornette talked about me on his podcast once, like 2 years ago or so. And for one,
you're still not over it. Look at him. He's still bringing it up in conversation.
He did kind of rake me over the coals a little bit, but it had more to do with me being friends with Kenny Bolin than anything. But first I was caught off guard because it was surreal. I always liked Jim Cornette when I was a kid. And then to hear him talk about me on the show, that was weird. So I had to pause that. And I called my wife and told her, and she couldn't have cared less. She didn't even know who he was. She was like, who is that?
Your wife is so unimpressed by you.
I know. Trust me, I know.
Yeah.
In many, many ways. But speaking of ChooChoo Stu, this week's segments are Totally from UK Today, a.k.a. Totally FUKT with ChooChoo Stu, and a reverse prank call by Mike Canestaro as Betty Sue. So I'm going to play those, and we'll be back.
A man in Dublin has been saved from penile strangulation thanks to some steady nerves and an angle grinder. The long and short of it is that he got a cock ring stuck on his penis. After several hours, the man, who cannot be named, took himself to the local A&E to try and get help to have it removed, but ended up in the Irish Medical Journal. Emergency crews from the hospital and the local fire brigade managed to prevent organ-threatening complications thanks to some urgent treatment. It's not known what the man was doing to get the titanium ring so stuck that it caused pain and swelling, but cock rings are often used to improve sexual performance. It says so in the Irish Medical Journal. When doctors were unable to remove the ring, they called the fire brigade to help them out, or rather, help him out. They sedated the man and using an angle grinder, they removed the cock ring after about 20 minutes. The man did get his happy ending. He made a full functional recovery.
Hello?
Hey, this is Elijah. Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Hello, Elijah Marlin Kristen.
My name is Elijah. I was paid with medallion. We were calling to thank you and Mike for your help with... And Chris, on behalf... Yes, ma'am. And on behalf of every athlete that put on a uniform or won a medal, thank you for giving them a chance.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you.
Now,
For the...
Miss Canestaro?
I'm not the Mrs. Canestaro. I just watched the pumpkins.
Oh, okay. So they're not available right now?
No, and I just watched the fish and the oh my goodness, I've lost my train of thought.
No problem, ma'am. Will I do? Thank you. I'll try back at a better time.
What time would you try back at?
Probably tomorrow. Probably tomorrow around 11 or 10 or 11.
At the nighttime? Where I think they were sleeping at that time.
Oh, they're sleeping during the day?
No, they don't sleep during the day on purpose. I think they told me that they're sleeping at 11 to 12. That's their bed.
It was gonna be in the morning. We don't call at night.
Oh, well, God bless you all for not calling at night. That's awesome.
Yes, ma'am. Well,
all right.
Taking my call, ma'am. Yeah.
Okay. There's a snake on the floor. I had to go now.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye now.
Want to contact the show? Send an email to jason@wedonthavecookies.com.
You can also call 929-266-9342 and leave a voicemail. My kid's birthday was Friday.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
I said happy birthday.
You did.
But I said it today, which is a day late, but I'm always late, so that's all right. Actually, I know a lot of people whose birthdays were yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
I think there was somebody else.
Jonathan Patterson's birthday was the other day, too.
I know I saw somebody else on Facebook. So,
Yeah.
God damn, there's a lot of birthdays.
Yeah, and I apologize for not saying happy birthday to any of you until now. I didn't even say happy birthday to my kid on Facebook. I just
say it to them.
Yeah. My wife posted something about it and tagged me in it, and I'd just rather not get on. So when I see
I'd rather
it, I'll
my
say
daughter
happy
not
birthday.
know that I love her. It keeps her hopping.
You were more fun to make than you are to raise. Fuck off. Happy birthday.
Bitch.
I've been really involved in this game. It's called Game of War. It's a lot of fun, and I told the guys on there that I wouldn't be on because it was my kid's birthday.
Yeah.
But we ended up getting her an iPhone for her birthday.
So she didn't want to talk to you anyway.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, well, guess what, guys? I'm free all day.
Yeah. She has no desire to be with me whatsoever. That's kind of the goal of parenting these days. It's like, here, I've given you every electronic available. Stop talking to me.
It was surprising how quickly she was just like, it was her first phone that had, she's had other phones, but it was the first one where she had her own real number. It wasn't some app that gave her a phone number that she could use on Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And it was her first brand new phone. All the others is when we get an upgrade, we just give her the extra one, and that's how it is. So she was very excited, and I can understand that, but it was kind of funny just to watch her just get completely submerged into it.
Oh, yeah.
I was jealous. I want a new phone.
See, when you only have 2 kids, you can do things like that. When you have 6 kids, you're like, nobody's getting an iPhone.
I got a big issue with technology, especially communications, because my family was the first people to have they were the second people to have a cell phone store in the area. Mm-hmm. We were right behind Ludlow Wireless. We had this big rivalry with them. Plus, they were I think they were AT&T, and we were Verizon back before they merged. So it was kind of a rivalry. But it was back before cell phones were popular. Yeah. I'm talking like in the 90s and shit, when you had the brick phones. Yeah. We had a garage built so we could install phones in people's cars. Yeah. That's how long ago it was. Yeah. Like, you needed a bag to carry your phone around and shit. Yeah. And we had to show you a map of the calling area, and it was just Dayton, but there were like 5 different parts of it and shit, you know? We actually sold a phone to Pete Rose and his son. Oh. Yeah, they came from Cincinnati to come buy one. We sold them to the Cincinnati Bengals and all these people, and that was kind of cool. So ever since then, I've always wanted whatever the latest phone is. Yeah, I just have to have it because ever since there were phones, you know,
you've had the best. Well, that's
So it just kind of got ingrained in me now. And when I see somebody with a better phone than mine, I'm just like, oh, hell no.
I didn't have a cell phone for a really long time. My parents actually bought me my first cell phone when I was like 30.
Oh, yeah.
Because my dad just thought it was ridiculous that I was driving his grandchildren around with no cell phone. You know, I needed to have communication abilities. He felt it was dangerous for me to be, you know, out and about without a phone. So they got me a phone. And then a couple years ago, I saw the magic of smartphones.
Yeah.
And I was like, I must have a smartphone. And my parents were like, we are not buying you a smartphone. I'm like, damn it. So I had to be an adult. And I got my own phone plan. And then a couple years later, like, because my parents put me on their plan, and then my husband's parents put our daughter on their plan. And then my parents bought my husband a cell phone, so they had him on their plan too. And then, so it was just, we were all on everybody's different plans. And so finally I was like, all right, we're just going to be regular adult type people. And I put us all on the same plan. You know, when you're like 35 years old, there's just something about your parents being like, we're not buying you a smartphone.
I hate you. You slammed the door on your way out.
But I want one. How am I possibly going to play Angry Birds? Like, really, when Angry Birds came out, my brother-in-law had it on his tablet, and we were on vacation. And I just basically took that tablet over and was like, must fling birds at things. And after that, I'm like, I have to have an Angry Bird machine of my own. That's what I called it for a while. It's like, I really don't care about anything else that this thing does. I just want to play Angry Birds on it.
That's how I got with Game of War, man. That thing has sucked me in. Mm-hmm. The only reason I played it was because I think we've talked about it quite a few times on the show, but I like playing Yahtzee. I used to play it with my mom growing up, and when there was an app on the phone, I was like, well, hell yeah, I'm going to play that.
Yeah.
But you got a certain amount of bonus rolls if you downloaded Game of War and made it to level 10. And I thought, well, I'll download this stupid game.
How they get you.
I'll make it to that level.
That's why they make you do it.
Yeah. And then I'll just delete it, and I'll go back to playing this every day. And now I barely ever play Yahtzee. I'm on Game of War all the time now.
I have been playing Candy Crush since it came out. And I have beaten every level that they have. Every week they put out new levels, and then I beat those for the week, and I wait for them to put out new levels. Like right now, there are no more levels for me to beat, and people will be like, "Oh, I'm on level 800," and they're like, "What level are you on?" And I'm like, 2,379. And I think about how much time I have wasted. I'm like, this is gonna go on forever. For the rest of my life, I'm just gonna be waiting for them to release more boards so I can match candies, and it's stupid. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. There is nothing good that is ever going to come out of this, and yet I still, every night, it's like I just want to mindlessly match candies.
I used to think it was stupid if people played games on their phone that were like really submersive games, you know, because I thought, well, just grow up and get an Xbox.
Yeah. For a long time I played Farmville, and then it's like one day I'm like, for all the time that I spend on this, I could be growing real vegetables and like have a real farm and actually be outside. What am I doing?
I could have saved up the money for a combine by now.
Exactly.
It is hard, especially the one I play, because they have a little chat room at the bottom of the screen, and you start forming like real relationships and friendships with people.
Yeah.
And you just get on, you're like, oh, hey, that guy's on. You start talking to them for a minute, and it's kind of hard to quit playing at times.
See, you know, I have formed friendships through games and through various, like just being a fan of the same band, you know, and meeting people through forums over the years and like at concerts, different things.
It is weird because now I don't really want to play Yahtzee that much, but I do get on because I made friends with some of those people.
Yeah.
And I just get on because I feel like I owe it to them to keep the games going.
I did that
And I
with
just send them
Farmville for a
messages.
long time. I would just go in and send the gifts to people or fulfill their requests because I'm like, I feel like these people are counting on me, to get the things that they need. And if I don't help them, then they're going to be kind of screwed. But after a while, you're like, this is stupid. Get a life.
The other reason I don't play Yahtzee as much is that's where my last 2 stalkers came from. We didn't talk about the last one because that one was really close to home. I think I talked to you about it privately, but it's never come up on the show. And other than this little blurb, it's not going to because that one was kind of frightening. But back to the birthday thing.
Yeah.
I think we talked about this privately, too. For people who don't have each other's phone numbers.
It's on Facebook Messenger, yeah.
I was blown away by this. I had no idea this ever happened, and apparently it happened years ago. Horoscopes have changed.
Yeah.
I'm not a Gemini like I thought my entire life up to 2 months ago. Now I'm a Taurus.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they haven't, like if you have a horoscope app on your phone, they kept all that shit the same. This hasn't I don't know if you want to call it mainstream, but people haven't switched over to the new thing.
I think it's hard because you do identify yourself. Like I've always been a Capricorn. January 19th is the last day of Capricorn, and I refuse to be anything else. And now they've turned me into something that they made a whole complete other side that I'm now a part of. And I don't accept it.
Oh, you're part of the new sign?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, because they did start a new sign that's, I think you can only be in that sign for 3 to 7 days or something like that. I mean, it's a very, very short period of time, which that seemed kind of odd too. But I always liked being a Gemini. I thought that was cool, Then I started looking into, how they have the little synopsis of what the signs mean, not just your daily horoscope. And I looked at the Taurus, and I'm like, well, that kind of matches, too. And then it hit me that you could look at pretty much any of these, and they're so generalized that they fit no matter who it is. But it really blew me away that they changed that, and I had heard nothing about it.
Actually, it's my son is an Ophiuchus. And I am now apparently a Sagittarius.
Now, the Ophiuchus, isn't that, like you said, that's the new one, right?
Yeah,
Does it show how many days? Because it was a very short period of time.
Now, a Scorpio is only from November 23rd to November 29th now.
That's the one I was thinking.
But the new one is
shortened.
November 29th to December 17th. But that can't be.
I knew there was one that was like a really small amount of time, which I thought was very strange. Well, like, why even bother? Just combine it with something else.
Yeah, just tack them on. Yeah, apparently I'm a Sagittarius now. I don't buy it. I'm not buying it. Nope.
Yeah, so if you're out there listening, check your new horoscope sign.
Or don't, because the rest of us...
Well, nobody's changed anything.
In this new world of alternative facts and fake news, who cares? We're all just going on gut instinct anyway. Nobody gives a crap about facts anymore or what's real. So
this is going to be really, really inside baseball. And I understand if you don't care or get it. But I was playing that game of war, and the way it is you have an alliance. Then you're your own thing, but you're part of the alliance. And in your own thing, you have your own troops, and you got something called a hero that is like the leader of everything in your thing. Well, if it gets captured, you have a certain amount of days before they can kill them off, and you can either pay them off or send them messages and beg them to let it go. Every time, I'm kind of worried because this might backfire where I'm the fun guy to steal the hero, so everybody just tries to get mine now. But whenever somebody captures it, I always send them messages. And I'm like, hi, please don't tell anybody, but this is Donald J. Trump. And you have captured my hero. At first, when I got the notification that my hero was captured, I thought it was fake news. But I must tell you that this has angered me big league.
Yes.
And if you don't return my hero, by the end of the day, I will have the CIA and the KGB come get him myself.
Yeah. I have the capability.
And I send them messages as the Queen of England and all this stuff. And at the very end, I put, I hope you believe this crap. Sincerely, Jason.
But do they let them go? Or
no. They don't even reply. They just sit around waiting for the next one, because I send them like at least once a day.
Yeah.
My favorite is I say, "Hi, I'm your best friend. I know that this has never come up, but I play this game too. I just didn't want to tell you about it. Now, if you talk to me about this, I'm probably going to pretend like I don't know what you're talking about. I may even laugh at you and show you on my phone that I don't have this app, but it's hidden."
You just, yeah.
The last person, that was the last message I sent them out of like 5. And they sent one back saying, "Sorry, I don't speak English," and they signed it, "Your wife."
Nice.
Yeah, it's a good time. I just don't want to be the guy where they're like, "No, it's really fun. If you steal this guy's stuff, he sends you all these funny messages."
Nobody thinks you're that funny, Jason.
That's true.
Start signing everything Sweet Daddy J and see if that doesn't help.
I need to change my hero's name to that. Sweet Daddy J.
Go.
That'd be fun. Have you watched any new TV shows lately? There's been a lot of good ones that have come out. Like Better Call Saul just started back up. God, there's so many now. It's hard for me to keep up with them all.
I haven't. I don't know. Like, the TV's on all the time, but I rarely am actually watching it.
One I got excited for was 24 Legacy, because I liked the original 24. I only made it through a few seasons, and then I just didn't care anymore.
Yeah, I think that's probably why they canceled it. It seemed to be a lot of people's reaction.
And this one, I thought, well, it's kind of like when they brought back X-Files. I thought, well, I'll watch it because I used to like it, and then I started watching it. Now I just watch it because I'm in the storyline. I just want to see how it plays out. I've totally checked out by now. I'm watching it. The main character, I'm so out of the show, I don't even know his name now because I don't care. I just know what he looks like. And he was in a parking garage. This guy pulls in, parks his car, gets out, starts walking away, and he wants to talk to this guy. But he's got to be, he's got to be smooth about it. So what he does is he sets the guy's car alarm off. The guy comes back to his car, looks around, doesn't see anything, turns the car alarm off, starts to walk away, and the guy nabs him. And I thought, it would have been a little subtler if he would have got out of his car initially and you just went, "Psst, hey." Other than setting a fucking alarm off where everybody in the goddamn place
turn
looks.
Around and look like, "Hey, what's going on over there?"
Yeah. I thought, what the fuck am I watching?
Yeah, it doesn't seem very inconspicuous. I got trapped into, the other night, my daughter, my oldest, was up late, and we got sucked into my big fat gypsy wedding.
Oh, yeah?
Which is insane. Apparently in these gypsy cultures, the women are supposed to remain pure, of course. A lot of these girls don't ever finish high school, because they don't need to. Their job is to maintain themselves and have babies. But in this one episode, the girl's marrying her cousin's baby daddy. And so she is having this huge wedding where she's marrying her cousin's baby daddy. Her cousin and her cousin's mom show up. They're cursing the wedding. And the groom and the bride, they get married. They go through with it. They go to the reception. Baby mother's still pissed that their cousin's marrying the baby daddy. And the the bride's ex-husband walks in. Well, the groom sees her ex-husband and says, "Well, why don't you just go be with him? You must want to be with him." They start fighting at the wedding reception. Police come, break it up. The groom goes home with his ex, the baby mama, and the bride goes home with her ex-husband, and they get divorced. And a week later, they show up, and everybody's with their original partner to begin with. What the hell is going on? I think you guys just got trolled. They just wanted, because these girls, they live in, these trailer homes. They're nothing fancy. These people are, regular down-home Kentucky folks, but they hire this dress designer in Boston to make them this biggest, flashiest, ugliest dress possible. This one girl wanted her dress to be the longest dress that there's ever been.
Okay,
it weighed over 100 pounds.
Damn.
And, that had been the cap. They're like, a dress can't weigh more than 100 pounds because a girl can't fucking carry it. They couldn't couldn't figure out how to get her in the car. And I'm like, didn't you ever think that maybe a dress with like a 50-yard train on it is going to be a little difficult to manage to get around? Another girl had wanted her dress made of real flowers. And so they spent all this time hand sewing this dress with real flowers, and they ship it to her and the fucking thing's dead. Of course it's dead. It's a dress made out of real flowers.
I would like to see the dress in a vase.
I think this girl just I think they just wanted the show to come and make them a big dress and be at their wedding, and I don't think they ever really had any intention of staying married. I mean, who goes into their wedding? Your bride's ex-husband shows up, so you assume that she invited him and that she now wants to be with him, and you guys just got married? And he, picks up the cake and, basically punches her in the face with it? What?
Most of those shows... And it's not like I don't watch them, but most of those shows are so fake.
I know. It's so
reality
easy to
TV,
get
but it's like, this is bullshit.
Yeah, I know.
It was some, I think it was Amish Mafia or something.
Yeah, I watched Amish Mafia too. Yeah. And
somebody's putting,
this is even...
can't quite remember the scenario, but somebody was putting a bomb in someone's car or something, or buggy, and there's camera people around. You don't think that they're going to be taken to jail for being complicit in this scheme. I mean, they didn't plan it, but they knew it was there. If the guy dies, they're going to jail too. Another show I watched, and I don't know why, and I watched 2 episodes back to back last night.
Because you get sucked into the bullshit.
Yeah. And I want to like it. It's called The Path. It's on Hulu. It's a Hulu exclusive. And it's got the kid from Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad. And I liked him in Breaking Bad. I just didn't realize that that's all he can do is that character. Because there's no change. It's still the guy. But it had a cool concept. There's a little cult and all this stuff. I don't know, man. I keep watching it, and the further along it goes, just the more plot holes and shit come up, and it's kind of rough. Yeah. But I still want to watch it, and I don't know why.
Well, yeah, it was 3 a.m., and, actually, it was 10 till 3. My daughter got up, and she's like, this is stupid. I'm going to bed. We've watched 3 episodes of this bullshit, And then in the last 10 minutes is when the fight at the wedding reception went down. And I was like, oh my God, I'm jumping up to find the remote. I got to record this. I can't believe she left. But then again, this is the girl who watched the entire movie, The Usual Suspects, and then left the last 5 minutes. You've just watched this whole thing for nothing. Because the best part of it, you just walked away for, and you don't even know who Kaiser Sose is.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, well, no wonder you're looking at me confused. What I'm saying is don't leave the last 5 minutes. That's anybody who's seen Usual Suspects will be like, are you kidding me? Then you wasted your time.
I saw this one movie. You should check it out. It was like a mafia movie. All kinds of weird shit happens, but it's set back in the day. And this one dude wakes up, and it's kind of... Like I said, it's good, but it's one of those movies where you kind of check out because it's not that good. This dude wakes up and there's this horse's head in his bed. And it's like, what the fuck? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Are you talking about The Godfather?
Yeah. You've heard of it?
Yeah.
I just brought that up because...
I knew where you were going with that because that actually happened to my husband. He's like, dude, I saw this movie. It was great.
Oh, I thought a horse's head was in his bed.
Oh, no.
It's that's horrifying. Tell me this. This has never come up, and I understand why.
I was watching this movie last night, man. It was pretty good. You should watch it. It's called, The Godfather. What? What?
We actually had an episode called the Accidental Episode where we talked about that, but I haven't released it yet.
Oh, well, then all this is just...
Now that I think about it, I probably could have last week.
I was going to say, all these things that we've recorded, and you're just like, forget it. I'm glad to know that you're wasting my freaking time.
Everything else has come out, but... Yeah, I remember thinking, well, I'll keep this one around. I'll title it the Accidental Episode, and when I need an episode, I can put that one out if I need it. Because it was just kind of a pre-show conversation where we just talked for a long time, and I remember saying, well, we could put this out as an episode.
Yeah.
And I could have,
You didn't.
Sorry, guys. Damn, now I kind of feel shitty about that. It never hit me.
Take your head out of your ass, would you please?
I'm not even going to mention how I have another one with Mike Canestaro and one with Dave Craig. And I keep thinking, well, I'm glad I have these. Because I tell them before we record, like, well, this is just something I'll have in the bank in case. And
Yeah.
that opportunity has come up many times.
Nah.
Yeah. Well, speaking of dumbass moves, it's time for this week's Dumbass of the Year.
Did you see April the giraffe had her baby?
Yeah.
And when I clicked on to watch, like, it was just the baby giraffe's legs sticking out of her ass. And I'm like, how do you just walk around with some legs sticking out of you and just be like, I'm just going to go over here, see what's up. Like, to me, that'd be like, you know what? This thing needs to come out right now. Like, there's no drink of water. There's no tuft of hay that's going to distract me from getting the rest of this thing out of my ass right now. But anyway, go ahead. Anyway, what's your dumbass of the year?
This goes out to a Texas massage parlor that was busted for prostitution because their pipes busted. And the reason their pipes busted was because they were clogged by hundreds of used condoms.
Oh, my God. Is that what guys generally do with condoms? You flush them down the toilet?
No.
I would think that that's a bad idea. I mean, just
figure it out, man. What the fuck? That is so weird.
That is like the weirdest day. That plumber's gonna remember that forever. People will be like, "What's the weirdest thing you found in the pipes?" He's gonna be like, "Hundreds of condoms."
The owner didn't even know anything was going on. He found out when an industrial waste disposal unit connecting the property to the city sewer services became clogged and destroyed by hundreds of condoms.
I find that hard to believe that they didn't know.
Well, I guess it was kind of hard to find out what was going on because none of the stuff was on the books or anything. They tipped the person directly. Mm-hmm. I don't know how massage parlors like that usually work, but I guess there was no ledger, not even like a secret ledger.
It just seems so, like, how does
It was
that
just
come
cash
about?
only.
Like, somebody's giving you a massage, and then, like, the girl leans over, like, hey, do you want me to jerk you off? You know?
I have no idea because I went to a lot of them, and every time I've brought it up, they just shoot it down.
Yeah,
so I don't
they're
know.
like, no.
Yeah, I don't know how you do it.
I was going to say, because it seems like something that somebody'd have to offer. Do guys ask? Like, you just flip over like, hey, can you take my tent down?
When the police got there, they found a woman and some other guy nude in a room. So they were pretty much busted. But then when they found the second couple, it was kind of a lock. This is what's going on. When you got two couples of nude people and you have hundreds of condoms.
Yeah. I still think the owner should know.
Yeah, you would think. But there are a lot of absentee owners out there that
but how many whorish massage masseuses are there? I mean, I've known a lot of people who are masseuses, but because you have to be a qualified masseuse. I mean, if you're really running like a legitimate spa or massage parlor or something, you're not just hiring Jane Doe off the street. You know, she has to have like qualifications and certifications in school and stuff. So that's like, she's gone a long way. And then to add happy endings on top of that, she's like, why not make an extra $10? I mean, it just seems strange.
Maybe they have their own little private massage parlor school just for that institute where they just kind of sign you off and you get your certificate.
Sign you off.
Like, yeah, you're good.
My husband and I were at Walmart the other night, and I swear to God, I had to walk 5 feet in front of him. He kept farting every aisle we went down. Like, you've got to get out of here, because I just kept walking. I wouldn't turn around. I wouldn't go back. I'm like, no. I walked through a cloud of it one time. I'm like, you have got problems. Like, we need to go home. Anyway, enough about my husband's farting problem.
Speaking of going home, that's what we're going to do right now. So, as always, you can send your emails to jason@wedon'thavecookies.com or call 929-266-9342 and leave a voicemail. Until next time, stay crunchy.
Thanks for listening. Tell your friends about the show and leave a review.
Everybody's going to say stay crunchy now. It's going to be the new hip goodbye.
Stay crunchy.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet Daddy J.